Oh, I see. How considerate of him. Well, you've come at the right time. I need someone who'll go unnoticed among the locals. Sir Hanush, And why is he sending you? What do you want here, lad? I'm sure Sir Hanush told you what I'm doing here. Exactly. I'm seeking out the sores that inflict the body of the church, the rash of heretics. Valdensians. Dangerous heretics, one and all. Ask away, my son. That's good, because the last thing I need is one of these local good-for-nothings. I can't trust a single one of them. And they don't trust me either, but you're an ordinary lad with a likable face, if a bit simple-looking. You'll have a much better chance of learning their secrets. Excellent. Let's get right to the point, Henry. That is to say, I know in theory. That's all right, lad. My scribe has a truly dreadful scrawl. Certainly, but pay close attention. I know how to get to where the heretics congregate. The crux of the matter is this. We caught a heretic in Gutenberg who told us of the heretics in Uschitz. Regrettably, by the time he got around to describing their meeting place, he was already raving and hardly coherent. Possibly. His account was confused, to say the least. I have a record somewhere here. Can you read, boy? As I say, he was probably raving. Do you recognize any of those places? Excellent. That's what I wanted to hear. Everyone is a suspect. You can be sure of that. But I'll know more after I finish the interrogations. By the end, all his strength had left him, so he couldn't even put together a list. We caught one in Gutenberg. He confessed to everything, including meeting up with others in Uschitz a few times. Both possibilities are equally disturbing, but I'll allow you the benefit of the doubt and assume it's the latter. Look, boy, I don't have time right now to embark on theological disputation, besides which it's not something you need concern yourself with. Suffice it to say, they are heretics. Really? Then you've either not been paying attention in church, or the parish priest in Ratai is too idle to read out the bishop's missive to the congregation. But to answer your question, it's a heretical sect. God be with you, my son. That is indeed possible, but I want certainty, not conjecture. I'm pleased to hear it. Heretics are a canker on the body of the church. Do you know what's to be done with such an ulcer? Of course not. You take the hot iron to it and burn it out. It may hurt. It hurt me too, to have to cause the man to suffer. But it had to be done for the well-being of the church. My lad, guard your tongue. It's unwise to question the ways of Mother Church. Really? And who are they? And? Did you find it? Pardon me? Well, I expect you to give me some evidence. In the last few days I've been hearing how practically everyone here is a heretic. Really? Well, that is good news. So tell me. So I was right all along. And what did you make of it? Was there anything interesting there? Fascinating. I don't suppose you know whose cross it might be? My boy, my boy. Go back there and look harder. I'm sure God's hand will guide you to something useful. No matter. At least I finally have something to go on. Now, why don't you ask around the village for me? Someone is bound to know whose that cross is. Or ask that good-for-nothing priest Godwin, though I doubt he knows anything. Well, well, it's all beginning to fall into place. I've heard things about them from the locals. Anything else? It is true that a lot of people spoke out against them. But listen, it occurred to me that you could take a closer look at them yourself. Aha! And you'd do that for Mother Church? Well said. Now there's good, strong Christian resolve. I like you, my boy. I'd considered suggesting you take a look at the Bowers, but in your eagerness you've beaten me to it. You may well be wasted here on some local squire. Modesty is out of place here, albeit a Christian virtue. After all, our Lord takes into his service the very humblest. And I have some information for you that will greatly ease your task. What of it? What did you hear? Speak up, boy. What else? God forgive those poor souls, for they know not what they do. A different faith? Where did you get that from, my boy? There is only one faith, one God, one church. Understood? You're forgiven, but be careful what you say. A little remark like that could draw the kind of attention you really don't want. Now, to the point. Did you hear their prayer? Confess? A heretic who wants to confess? There'll most certainly be more to it than meets the eye. Never trust the word of a heretic. They're the devil's vessels. Remember, he tries his tricks through them. Nothing? And how are they praying? And they said nothing at all that was out of the ordinary? That's odd. They are the only people around here who seem likely to be heretics. Well, I suppose I'll have to deal with this matter myself. I have no further use for your services. You may go. Ha! They've fled. So they are heretics. It's not the first time the devil's spawn has fled from me. I'll do the same as always. Track them down and capture them. Don't worry. They won't get far. Thank you for your help. You may leave. Well, that will probably suffice for me. You did well. And for your devotion to Mother Church, you deserve a just reward. Now please excuse me. I need to arrange for their arrest and interrogation. The locals say their entire household gathers for supper. If you were to sneak up to the attic and listen to their prayer, we'd learn more. Very well, go ahead. And remember, if you hear something suspicious, report to me at once. I think your testimony will suffice to make the case. I see. It's a good thing at least the servants of the nobility are getting a suitable education. Some of their own offspring can hardly write their own names. Here's the record of the interrogation. From what I can make out, his description of the route starts at the local tavern. Once you've found something out, come back and see me. I would have expected Sir Hanush to send me someone literate at least. Well, never mind. I'll read it to you. But I'll give it to you to take to Sir Hanush anyway. No doubt he'll want to see it. Good God! Well, I can't blame you for that, my child, but it seems Sir Hanush hasn't much respect for me, sending me such a lackey. Never mind, I'll read it to you, so pay attention, and take the parchment with you. It might be of interest to Sir Hanush. I began my pilgrimage in Ujits, a den of iniquity where the people were drinking and fornicating, so I left that corrupt place at once. And at once I saw another abomination, the temple of the bride of the Antichrist, with the proud Babylonian tower. I went past it quickly towards the rising sun. The only place I could make out was the local tavern. When I left the village, I came upon a crossroads and didn't know which way to go. So I fell on my knees and prayed, and my prayer was heard, for the finger of Christ rose from the ground to show the right path. On I went, through this sinful land, and suddenly I heard the sound of a 1,000-headed crowd at work, and I saw their queen and their towers. I journeyed further on, and all at once there rose from the ground the jaws of the behemoth, and his broken teeth jutted up to the heavens like the tombstones of the Moabites. So I went through the mouth of the beast, and by the road I saw the abode of the apostles Peter and Andrew. I was hungry, so I took the fruits of their labors and filled my belly. Then I left their house and saw 2 widows weeping and keening. I wept with them, and they let me sleep in their shadow. I went further along the edge of the world, and saw the ribs of the great Leviathan washed up by the sea. Then I saw 2 bridges over the river Jordan, and the devil tempted me and tried to lure me to the one on the right. But I saw through his deception and went against his will. And then I finally saw it, the gateway to the garden of paradise, abundant with foliage. It was guarded by men of straw, but they saw I was a good Christian and let me enter therein. My boy, I sent you to find heretics, and you came back empty-handed. For all the good it did me, I'll no longer be needing your services, and in the future, remember, not everyone wants to hear the truth.